is one from Natumanya Rona, and she says, what can I do to boost my self-confidence and self-esteem?
How have you built that deep relationship with your kids?
Was it hard to leave employment and venture into business? And how did you go about it?
Proverbs 24:27 says, prepare your outside work, make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterward, build your house.
You know, they say there's a thin line between bravery and stupidity. The line is very thin.
There are many people who come from wonderful families. They've gone to schools that encourage participation. They treat boys and girls equally. They have opportunities, access to so much, and yet their self-esteem is low. So it's not about the environment so much. It's about your inner environment, the external environment.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Bump Love. We welcome you to the wonderful, beautiful space at Colos Spa in Bugolobi. The environment is so relaxing. We nearly did not start. It's so surreal. Everyone got here and just sank into a different zone. You know, everyone was relaxed. And I love the weather today. Yeah. It's not hot,
Beautiful.
it's not cold. It rained a bit in the morning, but it's just relaxing. I hope you can feel it and pick on the vibe and enjoy this show. This week, again, we invite you into the room with us. We're going to take your questions, answer your questions that you sent, give you our opinions, experiences. I hope we're going to have a good laugh during this show.
Is it a good laugh? These guys, your questions, you guys, they are hard. Your questions are hard.
But I hope we can all enjoy this show.
Yes.
Friends, how was your week?
The week was learning new things. Learning new things. Amidst all of this that we go through in life, just when you think, I've got it now, there's something new to learn. So I was learning different things. Learning new things.
This week was a bit hard for me. Maybe there were like 3 different people that, you know, acquaintances, friends, or just people who you sometimes have, well, you don't always speak with them, but you have a conversation with them, and maybe you're just like, hey, hi, how are you? And they're all going through a separation.
Oh, no, sorry.
Towards divorce.
Oh.
And it did something to me because I felt in a certain way, a certain sense of, let me say responsibility, but not like that. About 6 months ago, there was a word that came that there was an attack, a deliberate attack on marriages. And because I wasn't hearing anything from anyone, I was just like, okay, you know, you just, I don't know, pray because you've heard. But that's where it ends. And as usual, you protect you're tough. You're tough, you know. And then the message kept coming from different people, different places, different prophets, different, you know. Now last week, like 2 weeks ago, the message came again. I'm like, but God, what's going on? You know, I thought we've prayed, what? Now this just 1 week, when 3 people tell you, it's different. It hits different because now you will know, okay, we are at war. It's no longer, we're just going to pray, and this one needs fasting and prayer. It's a war. We are going into battle. So you're checking, how is your salvation? How is your righteousness? How is your truth? How is your belt of readiness? How is your faith? How is your sword before you go into war? You're checking through and saying, okay, am I ready for battle? And if you're not going back and making yourself ready, then you go into battle, because this one it's battle, and it's not just for the current marriages, it's for marriages in bloodlines. so it was a deliberate attack on bloodline marriages. So yeah, so the week has not been,
You know, conversations like this that you have with people that you care about remind you how difficult adulthood can be.
yeah.
Because you have no control over what has happened to them.
Yeah.
You feel for them.
Oh, yeah.
You hurt. But what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Even when you say, let's pray together.
Yeah.
Even when you give your advice, somehow you walk away feeling, but
Well,
I'm
I
not
wish I could
sorted
do
it.
more.
Thank you. Yeah, but you're so helpless. And that's one of the things about adulthood. We're so helpless in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it's only when something happens that you realize, even this I don't have control over.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are people who, if you have family day out,
They're the ones who...
they'll be among the people. Yeah, you don't talk a lot with them, you don't engage, you don't... But there are people that you've met, like, let's say, like in marriage, different marriage spaces, especially in church, and so it's painful.
C'est la vie, as the French say.
Really?
Such is life. Like, what are we going to do about
do
it?
say,
Yeah, such is life.
Yeah.
You know, and we embrace it. This week, I got the opportunity to teach teenagers.
Aww.
Yes. There was a camp, like, what should I call it? A Bible camp, a
Yes.
teaching camp for teenagers. My daughters attended, and I got the opportunity to teach. And then I realized, this is nice.
Oh.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I was given a topic to teach on, and I liked it. I really enjoyed it. So, guys, today in the show, my name is Teacher Barbara.
Okay.
You will not address me by Barbara, please.
No, please. Who are we?
Because I taught
How
and
dare
I
we?
loved it.
How dare we,
Yes.
Teacher Barbara?
Yes. It was a good experience
I
for
love
me. I
that
walked
for
away
you.
the rest of the day saying,
Yeah, it feels something.
Heightened, yeah.
It
Good.
does, it does. Nice.
Wow.
Beverley in blue.
Yes.
Would you like to go first with your question?
With Ask Us Anything, I would love to. A pleasure. Here is one from Natumanya Rona, and she says, what can I do to boost my self-confidence and self-esteem?
Ooh.
I receive this often,
Yeah.
and while we use the words interchangeably, self-confidence for me is gained with practice at a particular task. For example, when I'm training in public speaking, I ask my trainees, do you swim? Most of them say yes. What was the difference between the first day and now? The first day I was scared, I needed a coach. Now I dive in the deep end. I said, what changed? Practice, doing it over and over again. That's where you gain confidence in anything. You keep practicing it. Practice swimming, you'll become a great swimmer. Practice speaking, you'll be a great speaker. The confidence will increase.
one, yeah.
Practice dressing a certain way in heels, walking in heels, you'll be confident in walking in heels.
Yeah.
The first day you may stumble and it's odd, but afterwards it's easy.
Yeah.
Self-esteem, it's interesting. So they do borrow from each other. And we talked about this, isn't it? The show we did. I won't go into that, but I think they borrow elements from each other. I would definitely say that a lot of it is practice and a lot of it is what you say to yourself. That's where you gain self-esteem. It's what you tell yourself.
Tell yourself.
Yes. Don't wait for other people to speak to you to build your self-esteem. That's not the point of self-esteem. The point of self-esteem is what you tell yourself. There are many people who come from wonderful families. They've gone to schools that encourage participation. They treat boys and girls equally. They have opportunities, access to so much, and yet their self-esteem is low. So it's not about the environment so much.
Right.
It's about your inner environment, not the external environment. And while external environment helps, be in a place that is conducive, that is warm and friendly, and it builds you, even when you don't have it, you can still have high self-esteem.
Okay.
So self-esteem is more of an internal environment concept, yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I read a thing today that said when there's no enemy within.
Yes.
There is no enemy
The enemy without
on
has
the outside.
no power over
Enemy,
you. Yes.
enemy
On the outside.
Yes.
without. Yes, on the outside.
Greater is he that is in you. Yeah.
Yes. So if you are happy with yourself on
Yeah.
the inside,
Inside.
even if you met someone and they tried to bring you down
Yes.
and made a comment about, your body image or
Yes.
something like
Yes.
that, if you have reaffirmed
Yes.
yourself
What's
or
on
you've
the
been
inside.
reaffirmed and inside
Yes.
you're confident,
Yes.
you can easily pass the comment and say, no, that's your opinion. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And let
Having
it go.
said that, while someone may have high self-esteem, there may be a time when you
Shaky.
falter a bit because it's a day when they found you when you are down in the dumps. And it happens,
Yes. Yeah.
but overall, you do have high self-esteem. Just because 1 or 2 days were really horrible,
bad.
from the moment you got up, your car was knocked, work, everybody came late for the meeting, power went out when you're in the middle of something. Those
The
things
wig
can
is not
happen.
fitting.
Yeah.
The wig, yes. It
I
doesn't
love
mean
that.
suddenly you don't have, it's gone, self-esteem has disappeared. No, you just had a bad day.
Yeah.
But your self-esteem is so strong, it helps you to overcome despite, because
All of those
the
things.
environment within is flourishing.
And you know what's interesting? For me, I find that it's important, for where it comes to self-esteem, there's a need for the internal and the external to balance. And for me, I usually tell people, if you want to build self-esteem, find the things that you do really easily, do them really well,
Yes.
to the point that people outside can, for lack of a better word, affirm you for those things that you do really well.
It feels so nice.
It feels so nice,
Yes.
and then it builds something on the
Yeah.
inside of
I love that
you.
you say that, by
So
the way.
that then, so say for example, let me pick something as simple as making a bed. So people have kind of commented that you make a bed really well. But then when you do it and people are like, oh my gosh, you do it so
Who made
that-
this bed?
Who made this
Contributes
bed?
to
yeah,
what
yeah.
is already-
What
yeah.
happens is then you start to add pillows. Add another
Throws.
layer of throws. Add, and then everybody is like, wow, wow. Before you know it, you've gone to the room itself. Then you've left the room, you've gone into the corridor
Oh,
and into the
extended,
bathroom. You
yes.
find that you extend yourself
yeah.
because it started with what was really small, and that small thing, you're really strong at it. So for me, that's where I tell people, like, if you want to build self-esteem, first go back and sit down and say, but what am I good at?
Yeah.
And then do it. And you can even ask people, what do you think of this? Wow, this is well done. Go back. Hey, this is you. That's why I feel like for where it comes to self-esteem, for me, I feel like there needs to be a good balance between external and internal. It helps to build.
I guess when your
Wow.
confidence is built, then your self-esteem
it goes
becomes
up.
apparent. It becomes an obvious by default.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
so.
Also, what does God say about you? Because our author, our creator, by the time you come to meet the mere mortals, you have
The mere mortal.
Really?
Must be having something.
there must
Yes.
be, you're grounded somewhere, you're anchored somewhere, and you understand that Baba, God says.
Yeah. And those things, I must say something about that, because many times we go and get these scriptures and then we go and talk to ourselves in the mirror and you try to
Claim them.
Yes, you claim them, and then immediately you walk out of the door, you're just like faltering because you
it was
didn't even
outside in,
believe it.
not
It was
inside
from
out.
yes, it
Yes.
was outside in, not inside out. I would say that somebody needs to take the practice of going and sitting down and meditating. And when I say meditating, it means, or what does the word of God say about me? It says that I am the righteousness of Christ. Okay. Sit down with that word. Don't go to just say it in the mirror. No. Sit down with the word and say, I, me.
I am the
I.
righteousness.
Not her, not, but I. When you've understood I, then am. Am is not will, not shall, not was.
One day.
Not one day. Now. Oh, so me,
Yes.
now
Lovely.
I am. Thee. You know, when you're saying, come and go to the tree, there's a certain assurance of the tree. Is the word "the" is so. Anyway, let me not go into how We'll do another session on meditation.
Yes.
I am then righteousness. What is righteousness? You eat that word, you chew it, you cud it. Of Christ. Why didn't he say in Christ? Why didn't she say with Christ? He said righteousness of. Why the word of?
Yes.
Then of Christ. Why was it important? Why was it? So that then when you see the whole word, it means something different on the inside of you. So that when you go before the mirror and you say, I am the righteousness of Christ, it's different. It's come from inside.
Yeah.
I like that. So even when people come and try to hold, say, your past against you, wrong things you've done in the past, when you have made peace with the fact that I am the righteousness of Christ, God got my sins and buried them where?
In the depth of the sea of forgetfulness.
In the depth of the sea of forgetfulness.
There's a song.
Yes.
It's all saying songs.
So, dear, if God has forgotten my sins,
who are you to remember? But sometimes we ourselves keep on reminding.
Exactly.
It's not even other people. Sometimes,
but after you've gone through that meditation and reminded yourself and chewed, digested, you know, it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said this. You've talked about this. Do you know how many of us in this world can't move to where God wants to take us because of the thought of our sin? So you say, me, I can't go on social media. What if they find out? Me, I can't go on social media.
My closet
will come out. Everything of mine will come. Say, me, I don't post my marriage. The other thing. Me, I don't do this. Everything. People make decisions on whether to move, to take the next step in their lives to reach their full destiny, their full potential in a place of fear. I'll do this, but I'll not say this. I apply for that job. If I apply for that job, people will say that I slept with that guy because I used to sleep with guys. You understand what I mean? So people don't move forward in their lives because of their past.
And yet there'll always be something.
And
even if there's no past something, you look for something in the future. Because fear is being afraid of something that hasn't yet happened. That's what it is.
Yes, exactly.
So, and it brings down your self-confidence a lot. You can't stand in front of people and speak because you're like, I did this.
There is the person who remembers.
What that one is a sister of the other one. But even if you don't know anybody, you're like, but if I stand up here and I say this, what if the other person tells the other one who tells the other one?
If they whisper to their friend that
to the other one.
That's the chico. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
When you think about it,
yes. And so you find that people do not take the first step to walking in their destiny because of the condemnation that comes from their past sin. And so you need to be in a place where you say, you know what? Even if all of the things kuika, me, as you see me, I am the righteousness of Christ. And then you move forward.
And that's why people with high self-esteem, it's not based on their goodness. Have you met people who present bad habits, but their self-esteem is overpowering? You see, it's
I like the way that it's present.
But it's overpowering, you see, because they have decided. But also that decision is constantly enhanced and emphasized in everything that they do. So they made their decision, no matter what. In other words, my sins will not condemn me.
They will not condemn me.
And they've decided, and then you're like, how do they do it? Have you met people that are like, how do they do it? Look at, they're not beautiful by any standards. They are not this. They are not rich. But how is their self-esteem, you see? Because they decided their determination of self-esteem is not by worldly standards. Or even if it is, it's not the worldly standards of everyone else. They've made their own standard and said,
I'm going to go
no matter what. And then they attract such power.
It's so powerful. And I guess that's why in many ways, and this is to our Christian sisters and brothers, in many ways the world goes ahead of us. They go forward, they are more daring, they take more risks. Because as we are still in a place of fear of what might happen. And Nadala, when we know God, we are like, if the things come out, then they say, a full Christian. Yes, we came to the church to be mended because we are broken. That's why we fear even them to open our books before judgment. We are like, Banange God, for my things, I beg you, please keep my things. So we are a broken people, and we need God, we need Christ. That's why we come to him and say, take our burdens. Anyway, before this becomes a Sunday service. The question I got was from Mrs. Shirambere, and she asks, how have you built that deep relationship with your kids? One of the conscious decisions I made in the start of, like when we're having our babies, was we're not going to have a maid. I'd seen it work with my mom, such that we had no maid, but because of that, there are certain things that she could not, she inevitably had to be there for us because she had no one to do
no substitute.
No substitute. And her decision for us not to have a maid was more financial than it was an intentional thing for her, because she wanted to grow her relationship with us. But because I saw what it did with each of us, like with my mom, I was like, I want this for my kids. And if it was that there was no maid as a substitute, then I'm going to sacrifice this time. And I knew it was for a season, so that means that I would have to spend way more time than I would have if I had a maid. So that means I had to do the showering of the children, I had to do the feeding, you know, those basic things I needed.
Which bond you with the child.
Yes, they do bond you. I had to do the feeding, I had to do the dressing, I had to do the teaching of all of those skills. I had to be there when they're in the toilet, I had to be there when they can't sleep and they need they need somebody to be with. I had to be there. And I think that then that's when the bond started to be created. And I knew that, guys, you cannot create a relationship with an adult child that you did not nurture when they were babies. And so, yeah, maybe they don't understand what you're doing, but there is a particular bond that exists.
Of course.
And I've always shared here on the show, even since the children were babies, that I want to be my children's anchor. You know, not like God, but the first place that they go to. I want to be the one who tells them, no, that one you need to ask God about it. That one you need to, I want to be the person that they can come to. Why? If it's not me, it's somebody else.
Of course.
Oh, and I don't want to imagine, even the thought of it.
You don't know, because you don't know what they're going to be told.
Yes, you know. So in doing these things of being the one that bathes them, feeds them, and I'm not saying one feeding, 7 in the 3 feet.
No.
Daily.
This is
I'm
daily.
saying daily. I'm doing the daily shower. I'm doing I'm doing all of it. I said, so that bond, I believe, is what has helped. Then secondly, as they grow older, I also, what's the word you say? Is it evolve? There's a word you like to say. I adjust.
Okay.
I adjust the nature of bonding.
Yeah.
And say, for example, right now they are older, they are in school. What are the topics they want to talk about? What are the things that they want to do?
Yeah.
They want to play video games. How much video games can I do?
Exactly.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
They want to swim. I need to do the swimming. So the activities that I used to do with them when they were younger have now transitioned to this. But they are to help build a particular bond, this bond with us, where it's not forced, where they're just like, Mommy's always here. Where's Mommy? Mommy, I needed to know where to go, and because I am always available to them. And I know that as they grow older, the activities that I will be doing with them to create that bond will be different. I also spend a lot of time listening to my kids. It doesn't mean I do what they say I should
But
do.
they know that you have their ear.
But they know that I will listen. So when they come home from school, I'll ask, so how was school? And let me tell you, they can ramble. Then after that I went, then this boy, then this girl, then which class are they? Then no, they're in LCD, you're in LCD. You're just like, oh my God. But then I will ask, wait. Is that Benjamin of LCD or LCE? Mommy, there is no Benjamin in LCE.
I'm sorry.
Then I have to take note. No Benjamin in LCE. Okay? You know, just so that because now is a good time to lay the foundation for conversation with them, where they can go and say, oh, Mommy, I need to talk to you about this. Mommy, I need to talk to you about, but this is the foundation. So my relationship with the kids has been about building foundations for a future that I seek to see. Yeah, that's how I would say it has been for me.
That's wonderful.
But you know, I've always been intentional.
Over to teacher Barbara. But you know, I think it's between the age of 1 to 7 that you lay that foundation for the
Yes, that's what they
relationship.
say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we only have, and actually it's even between the age of 1 to 7 that you still lay the foundation for obedience.
Yeah.
So people who have teenagers and all the, you know, children that don't listen to them, that do their own things, the foundation is built between 1 and 7. The day I read that thing, I was like, my God, we have such little
It's a short time.
you know, eh? And I think I watched a story where they gave an example of a child who was walking ahead of the father and then chose to cross the road. They were crossing, but he was ahead. And then the father just shouted, "Stop!" There was a car coming and he hadn't seen it. The child stopped. He didn't stop because the car was coming.
He
He didn't stop because there was, you know, a distraction or the bike. The dad, he just had the word stop. And he stopped. A little boy. So that kind of example is what it really hit home for me, that he stopped and then turned and said, why?
Yes.
But the first thing he did was
stop.
Yeah, so the time is so little for us to teach that.
And it's only for a season.
Yes.
Where you're not going to have these children
Yeah.
for that long.
Yeah.
So, and a foundation can only be laid
That's
in
why
the
it's called a
beginning.
foundation, man.
Yes, in
Yeah.
the beginning. So you let go of everything and say, you know what, I'm going to spend this time. Let me say, I lost friends because you would not be there for birthdays, you would not be there for what you do.
I remember one time saying, this Manuela does not have Friday nights. You know how everybody glorifies Friday nights? And it's a thing to go out, to have dinner, to watch, to... Manuela, this chick has no Friday nights. Because even when you're with her on a Friday, by 5, 6, she's rushing home to go and be with her children.
Yeah, it's true. But one day, I'll be back for Friday night.
It will have moved on, please.
For me, I was grateful that the children were an excuse for me not to spend time with certain people.
Yes.
Or even with things. I think some of the things are so excessive, the things we
Yeah.
obsess over. The Friday night, the ladies' night, I'm like, is it necessary?
So you always had the children.
I would rather have been with them anyway. And
Then-
even if they weren't an excuse and they were not there, maybe they had gone to my mother's.
You'd
The
still-
children!
Yeah.
Because it requires a certain type of... For me, going out is not just getting jeans and getting transportation. It needs so
Get
much
yourself
more.
ready.
That I must know beforehand. If you
Yes.
don't want, it's so much better. So my preparation is mental and emotional. So when
Yeah.
I arrive, I've come ready
You can-
for a proper experience.
I'm
yes.
telling you that thing. I would, for me to come to anything, I have to prepare. Where are the kids
Yes.
going to be?
Yes, you see, there's all
1
of
month
that.
old, 2 months old.
Who's going to be there with
Who's
them?
going to be there with them?
How much time have they given me?
They would
You
even
know.
tell me, but Manuela, the kids have grown older. I'm said, yes, they are older and more impressionable.
Yes.
That means someone can say something, I need to go.
Yeah, the art of balancing.
Yeah.
Shirambe asked Barbara, how do you manage business and maintain your relationship with God?
Are those two different questions or the same? Okay.
It's the same, actually.
Okay.
Well, let's hear.
I've started this conversation with a few people and it's gotten into those heated arguments. My response always creates a heated argument.
Oh.
And sometimes I have to remind myself that Jesus did not send us to win arguments,
Right.
but to teach,
Yeah.
you know, and preach. I don't think I'm there 100%, but I try to make my relationship with God my lifestyle. To merge my Christianity
In your
into
business.
my everything.
Into your life.
To your
okay.
work. Yeah.
Business, relationships, exercise, leisure, like try such that you are able to have an integral life. It's not that there is God and then there is
there's
business. A lot of wisdom for us in the business world comes from Proverbs.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You read, let me read this one for you, and then you understand why we need a lot of wisdom from God. Proverbs 10:2 says, a person may acquire a storehouse of treasures by wicked actions and gain fleeting pleasure from them. But in the end, they amount to nothing. They cannot give true joy or peace. There's also the one of the wealth of the
wicked.
The wicked.
It lies away.
No.
It becomes
Is
that
stored
for the
for the
righteous.
righteous.
Yes.
So you know when you hear things like that in the morning before you leave home, Then you get into business space and someone is trying to get you into crooked deals, or, you know, try to, you know, let's bribe our way and get this. And you remember that if I gain this wealth wickedly, it's not going to bring me peace and true joy. I will enjoy it fleetingly. You know those things of how they say grace to grass. It runs through your mind and you're like, it's okay. I will get it slowly, slowly, but let me get it once.
Yeah.
I have close Muslim friends and I've learned a lot from them. You people, if the Quran says do not,
They do not.
they'll even tell you that that thing would have got me a lot of money. But my religion does not
They're
allow.
so obedient to
They'll step away from it.
To the Quran, yes, they are.
And
I
they-
love that about them.
Yeah, and they'll give you the
I
reason
love
why.
it.
You know, they even say it, you know, I'd have done that thing, but
They're unwavering.
my religion
They are.
does not allow. So it was such a challenge for me that I'd keep asking myself, how many times do I refuse to get into wrong transactions, wrong deals, the way I treat my clients and all, because the Bible teaches that I should not be doing it. Yeah, so that's helped me a lot to merge. But also, when you have a relationship with God, and you know that you're going to have to go onto your knees at a certain point of the day and communicate, I keep saying, how do I go to my Father after I have done some under the table deal? What do I say?
That bless this deal.
Bless this.
That
Lord,
bless me through.
You know, the Bible also
give me
says that
favor
the Lord will bless the works of
of
your
your
hands.
hands.
Now,
These works.
when the hands are dirty, do I go and say bless them, bless the works of them? So it's just really merging Christianity with lifestyle, with parenting. Am I being a good example for the children? Can I stand and have moral authority and say, guys, why have you done this?
Yeah,
As Christians, we
moral
don't do it. What ground am I standing on?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, children, sometimes they'll not talk, but they'll give you the eyes. And, okay. The ones who are brave enough will say, but mommy, the other day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just merging the two.
Yeah.
Saying that everything about my life, my lifestyle,
Yeah.
will be a lifestyle of Christianity.
Yeah.
I liked when you said example. My pastor's wife, I think she's so exemplary. First of all, she has qualities I like. And it's not that she's a medical doctor, it's that she's not ashamed of being intelligent. Because some Christians are ashamed of it. They think it's too worldly.
Humility,
Yes.
the false humility gets to them.
Fake humility gets to them. And she's extremely intelligent, extremely well-traveled, and really brilliant and articulate. And at the same time, such a great mother. And when we're praying, I pray with Emma quite often, and with the children, we're talking about, I said, you know, I really love the fellowship we're in. I was talking about the ladies' meeting we had where she was leading, and he said, and you know what, she also lives an exemplary life. The example, when you said the example, I just look, when she comes in, everything about her, not that she's just put together, the way she articulates almost effortlessly, and yet you know, with the work that she has, she must experience stress.
Yeah.
With children growing in different schools, of course
There
you go
must
through
be
those
something.
challenges of this. With her husband also being the pastor of the church,
pastor.
of course they have busy schedules and therefore they have to synchronize them at times. Of course, all of that. But she's just, I find her really exemplary as a Christian. And when she speaks, I listen. She's one of the people who speaks, and when she speaks with authority, I listen. That's why when we had a ladies' night and they're talking about destiny and all that, those words still ring because it was spoken from someone whose authority I admire because she's exemplary.
I love
You guys,
that.
do you remember when
She
there was a
really
time
is.
when it was mockery to even be called Mulokole?
It was?
Yeah. there was a
Mockery.
time.
You
Oh,
know-
mockery, yes.
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 It was a shame to
It
be
was,
called Mulokole
yes,
and
yeah.
what? Because people were held to us. First of all, the standard was high.
Yes. Yeah.
But also the number of people who were not meeting even half the standard was higher.
Yeah.
So when someone referred to you as that, you'd be like, But now,
Yeah.
with people like her,
Yes,
I was
yeah.
about to say her name,
Yeah.
with people like, with people like her and so many other Christians that have come out to live the exemplary lifestyle.
Yeah.
You say it with pride.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You said
you do. And for me, I'll be honest. I think for me, and you had kind of touched on it, the challenge to be bold enough, to be bold about my faith, came from the fact that Muslims are very bold about their
Hey.
faith. They really are. If they need to pray, and I remember it came for me at a time when we were in a car, and I was being driven by an Uber guy, and I was going actually quite far away, and then the time for prayer came, and he just so nicely said, "Oh, sorry, I need to stop and I need to pray."
Wow.
Now, can I tell him, "Excuse me, I'm in a hurry"?
No.
Can he went
made
to
a
the
polite
back of
request.
his, he made a polite request. It was to pray. He went to the back of his car, got his mat, did the direction of the Kaaba, prayed, came back, said thank you. We entered the car, we zoomed. Here we are ashamed to say, "Oh, I need
You
to go
pray
and
when you're
pray."
hiding, or you say, "Because let me come."
Yeah,
Then you go excuse
yes,
yourself,
yes.
pray, and then come back.
Yeah, because the indication has been that when you pray, it means you're righteous, which which is actually the exact
Yes.
opposite. I don't pray because I'm righteous. I pray because I need help. I need direction. I need somebody to show me what to do.
So, even to worship and thank.
Or even to worship and
Yeah.
to thank and to praise our God. So that's where, for me, I feel that I'm so glad that as Christians we've started to become bold enough. I also like the fact that because now we are bold and we have seen what we went through when, as Christians, we were being ridiculed for saying we're Christian and not doing what we're supposed to do. Now we are having to do what we're supposed to do.
yeah.
So you have Christians that are doing really well in the marketplace,
Yes.
because also now the marketplace has been embraced in the church.
Before it was
Before
shunned,
it wasn't.
was considered too
It
worldly.
was like, you're too worldly, you want wealth, you want what, you know. But now the church has realized
Poverty was glorified.
Poverty was being glorified.
glorified.
But now the church is like, hey, we need money, we need tithe.
Are we going to beg
Are
forever?
we going to beg forever?
For
Can the
windows
people go
and
and
walls?
work and come back and then be able to give? And so now it's no longer being shunned. And so people can boldly go into the workspace, into the workplace, into the marketplace and say, I'm Christian and I'm going to give you a good service because I have the leading of the Spirit. So I find it interesting that you've talked about this as part of your
That's
journey.
great.
Take us
Thank
away.
you. Okay. Where am I taking you? You mentioned the name, Manuela.
Take us, darling.
I'm not
Take
sure how
us.
to pronounce the name. Mrs. Shiriambere?
Shiriambere.
Shiriambere.
Yes.
She says and asks, I love your energy. You are beautiful. Please share the tips to maintain your beauty. For me, energy and beauty are interchangeable for my life. Yes. I've always found people who are energetic extremely beautiful in anything, or attractive to me. I'm so attractive. And yesterday, a Kenyan, we're organizing an online meeting. And I said, when you're online, you need more energy than in a physical meeting. Because I believe you do. You're working against so many distractions.
Yes.
People on their phones, people getting tea.
Yeah.
A physical meeting, you have more of their attention. She was like, no, we can even have the meeting from your bed. No, 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 no. I told her, I said, Beverly, you have the energy of 5 Gen Zs. That's what she said. But I told her, for me, energy is not being hyper. You can be quiet and still ooze energy. It's
That's true.
oozing who you are.
That's so true.
And that's what she thought it was an overt physical expression. For me, it's not. Ooze who you are, whether you're quiet, extroverted, it doesn't matter. It's oozing who you are.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm attracted to people who ooze who they are unabashedly. They're not afraid of it. They're not ashamed of it. Just be who you are.
Right.
You stammer away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You color clash and own it. I love that.
Owning it, yes.
If you like to bring your packed lunch and it is jackfruit and posho,
With
eat
eggs.
and even share with
Boiled.
others.
Boiled eggs.
Eat it, share with others.
Right.
You're oozing who you are.
Right.
And I explained that to her. So for me, I use them interchangeably. What this person, I suppose, means is the radiance and the I'm vivacious. That's because, again, I'm attracted to that as well.
Right.
Because it comes from giving your best. It's because I spend a lot of time on my own.
With yourself.
Yes, so by the
you
time
know
I'm
best.
out, I'm already, all the resources that I gathered when I was alone, writing in my diary, understanding, praying, meditating, I've got enough to give and to give others.
Right.
And so when I have energy, it's enough to give others and inspire. And we had a Toastmasters meeting recently. The compliments I got, but when I thought, but this is what I was supposed to do in life.
Right.
To give energy to others, because there are
Right.
others who don't have. The reason why I'm able to is because the resources I have, they
Yeah.
must be expended.
Right.
Because I don't go out a lot. I don't go out and excess. I always say remove the excess. I
Right.
remove the excess. I don't attend unnecessary meetings. I stopped it. Those are the things that sap my energy. When I
Right.
stopped allowing people to sap my energy, it may be a good meeting, but it's not meant
For
for me. Not
you.
every good thing is meant for me.
That's
I
true.
know the things that are meant for me. That's why I'm cautious. And by the time I go out, I'm ready to give. And that's why the energy I have to give is abundant, because I have enough resources.
Yeah.
And I believe God is using that, because I get that so much from different spaces,
Yeah.
even strangers and acquaintances.
Yeah. And you can manage
Yeah.
the dosage.
I can
that
manage
you
the
give,
dosage, yes,
you know?
because I don't do it every day. And
Yeah,
even
you
if
don't do
it's
it every
every day for a short period, I'll have enough and then go back and rest.
Yeah.
I know when to rest and how to rest. I don't gain energy from other people, not really, unless it's the people who are deep with me in prayer, the destiny people I'm learning about. And also about the beauty, I don't know.
But you're beautiful,
I think,
darling.
I think
Beautiful.
I think some things are because I don't fuss. You know what I mean? I don't do.
Skincare routines.
What is
You
that?
guys, I keep saying it. I keep saying it, and I'll always say it. A lot of the beauty we see on the outside
Yes.
Starts
comes
Yes.
from the inside.
Yes.
You can meet someone who has beautiful features,
Yes.
and ideally they should look
Yes.
beautiful. But
But
there's something going on
something-
the inside
yes.
of them. The beauty is not really.
not really
It's
seen.
not radiating.
I will say that then. I spend a lot of time with myself, a lot of time doing things that are important and learning about where I want to go, what I want to do. So I'm careful with who is allowed in this space of energy and who saps. People, you can tell when a space is sapping your energy.
Right.
Detect it and walk away.
Right.
Sometimes we, second chance, maybe not. No. And that's why, you know, these groups, what are they called? There's so many groups of wellness groups and this group and that group. Not every women's group is meant for you. Please,
Yeah.
don't go to every... You've been invited for things, haven't you? I'm sure. Come for this, Barbara. Come. Is it for you?
No.
It's not, and you know
Yeah.
it. Some people are still... Some people think they'll find where they're going until they try and try.
Yeah.
I've stopped the trying. I'm
Yeah.
past that. I'm 10 years past that. Trying.
Yeah.
And people who are in the trying stage try to bring me back. I said, I'm past that trying stage. But I can help you. Know
Yeah.
how.
Yeah.
And so I also wake up early. It's really spending time with myself at a spiritual level. And then I eat well. I suppose that helps. I take a lot of water. We eat well as a family. We eat lots of natural foods. When we eat out, we'll eat out. It's not often.
Yeah.
All of that is a spiritual exchange. You have to be careful.
Right.
You may not realize it because they're saying all the right words and they're giving all the right vibe. That vibe is not yours. Understand? And also, you've been at another level. You know, there are fellowships that are good, but they're mainly good for new believers.
Right.
You're eating meat now. Why are you still taking milk?
Milk,
with the
yeah.
other one? So
Yeah.
know where you need to feed. Feed from the right source.
Yeah.
The right
How
fountain.
about if you're trying to check like as many?
Stop checking. No.
Manuela, you give us your question, please. Because now you've
If you're
started
still
playing.
checking, it means what you're doing in your
it's
private
true.
of your room.
I
is
think
not
there are
right.
times when there's a stage
Yes.
where you can go into all of these different spaces. Like 20 years younger, you're still finding yourself.
Yes.
Go into these spaces to find
Yes.
the ones that give you energy and the
Yes.
ones that sap away
But
your
then
energy.
some people stay in the ones even when they
no.
know they're remaining. Maybe, let's wait, maybe next week or next
Yeah.
year or the 2 years.
Yeah, no.
So be aware. People aren't aware. They're not using their discernment and a sense of awareness.
Yeah.
They're hoping for a miracle of sorts and it won't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
So the
makes
beauty,
sense.
I eat clean most times. I drink a lot of water. I've never had problems with my skin. I've never had pimples even in pregnancy.
Right.
I don't know
always
how
had a
to
beautiful
engage
skin.
in beauty. My hair has always been good quality.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's short or long, the quality has always been good. I don't even know what skincare, I don't even know what shampoos to use. Whatever my daughter buys in the house is the one I'll use for my hair.
I love that.
I
for
think
you.
it's being free and happy. I suppose
Yeah.
that's the beauty regimen.
Yeah.
But I use MOVIT products. That's one thing I use.
Oh,
I do.
that's
Interestingly, I
nice,
use lots
yeah.
of natural Ugandan products. But really, I don't have an answer to the beauty apart from radiating within. Find a source of energy from within. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. My question
Yeah.
is, Manuela, would you first build your residential house to save the
Ah.
rent you're paying or invest it? This was from Atamba Phoebe?
Love that question.
Especially in a society where it's safer to first build your home and know that you have a home. So I personally think, actually, let's go to the Bible. Proverbs 24:27 says, prepare your outside work, make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterward, build your house. There's another version that says, yes.
To think I've been reading Proverbs. That's 24,
You can never
27?
read 24:27.
Okay.
Prepare your work outside. So that's your career, your work. Get everything ready for yourself in the field. After that, build your house. There's another that says, first plant your fields, then build your barn.
In other words, first work.
First plant this.
Sort your cash
First
flow.
Get the
sort your
resources.
cash flow, yes. Then after that, Good News Translation says, don't build your house and establish a home until your fields are ready and you are sure that you can earn a living.
Yeah. I love it.
Should I continue or?
That's great.
Because I feel like it has
It
already,
has already been
been answered.
I'll just
Yeah.
answer.
I love
One of the other things I do is I lend money. The number of times I have rejected people's security because it is the home that they live in.
Oh.
And they've got
Oh.
like they've got work they need to do, a business they need to do, an LPO for work. They've got, and if they show you that I have this job, I'm going to do it. I just don't have the cash flow to be able to execute. However, give me the money and let me stake my home. I don't take homes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm thinking, okay, what if it had been done the other way around? Build your business, build your cash flows, and then from the profit and the cash flows, you can be able to build your home. The business can still run on its own, but you have a home as well.
Yeah.
So for many people, it's been done the other way around. I can take if the person is my close friend, because I know that some of my close friends really they pay up, but I'm not going to kick out a mother, her children, and the husband because I want my money. No, because I need to get my money. But also, this money is to leave an inheritance for my children's children.
Now, how will it leave an inheritance for
When
your
I'm
children's
forgiving
children
people.
or you have taken away another child's
Inheritance,
Yes.
yeah. So I've seen it play
It's a
out
hard one,
so
so
many
many
times,
ways.
yes, that
Yeah.
we do things the other way around.
Yeah, I think there's a piece of, I don't know whether to call it wisdom. Maybe it's for some people and maybe it's not. The fact is that you are paying rent and you're paying rent to someone and you're going to pay rent until you build a home. One of the pieces of advice I've heard about is get a mortgage and the amount that you'd have paid in rent to a landlord, you pay to the bank, and yet this money which was going to your landlord, if you collected it, it was still going to remain with your landlord. Anyway, but if you collected this one, even if it was for 15 years, at the end of the day, the house is your home. And the good thing with right now, the way mortgages have been structured, you find that the home which you're in is actually the security. So even if they come and say you failed to pay, we've taken the house, it wasn't, you didn't have it anyway in the first place. So you can't cry. But it's different from when you own something and then they took that away. So they've structured mortgages in such a way that the home that you are actually mortgaging becomes the security. So I also think that that's a safe way, because then you become your own landlord, but the money is being stewarded in the bank. So I think that's also a one where you say, okay, how much can I manage to pay in rent? Or my rent is 700,000. What mortgage can I get? So you work backwards. What mortgage can I get that is 700,000, 300,000, 150,000, whatever it is that your rent is right now? And what mortgage can I get such that I am paying that particular rent amount? And then at the end of the time, I will be owning that home. So I find that that's another way that you can do it. So you've invested, you have your home, I find that's
Ruthie Wachira asked.
Oh, she's
Barbara.
Kenyan.
Yes. Our Kenyan friends.
Karibu.
We greet you. Was it hard to leave employment and venture into business? And how did you go about it? It was not hard, but I went into it blindly. Like
That's why it wasn't.
yeah, that's why it wasn't hard. Like it was blind faith. You know, they say there's a thin line between bravery and stupidity. The line is very thin, and so many times we're crossing over from one side to another. The last boss that I worked for walked into my office one day and said, "You know, Barbara, I feel like we're wasting you here. You can do so much more. You have so much potential to just be employed. I am willing to sell you some of my shares. I keep some, you have some, and let's work like partners. Let's not work like, I jumped onto it. I think I had a beautiful RAV for that time. Sold it, got the money, came and made my first deposit for the business. If I knew what I knew today about business, I don't know if it would, because it's been a really rough journey, especially because one, I was not equipped to run business. Two, I didn't have that much knowledge. Capital, like I said, I just went into that, like, okay. First of all, it was so nice to hear your boss say, you have so much potential and what. So, no, it was not hard, but given the chance to do it again, it would be hard.
Now that you know.
Yeah, it really would be hard.
That makes sense. Personally, I really wanted to do it because I felt like there was something inside of me that was just boiling, burning, and I needed to get it done. Yeah. And so the only thing that actually stopped me was Brian, because he told me, you're not getting out of that business until you have, out of your job until you have X amount of money to sustain you outside. It's not like he wasn't even going to provide, but he was just like, no, make sure there's money to sustain you. I'm so glad he did that.
Business ethics.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm so glad he did that, because then that money, which I thought I had saved for myself, he's like, put it in the business to run the operations of your business. Because me, I thought immediately we open our doors like this,
Money.
Ugandans will come like the way they run to Chinatown.
Lines. There'll be
lines of women who need their... Blake Mulondo, my own son, no one passed by, no one checked on us for 6 months.
Yes. It was just you, and Blake was the customer.
Blake was the customer, and I was there telling Brian, pay fees, pay for your son's fees.
Yes.
So what helped? And remember, I've employed people. We are paying rent. We're doing marketing. 6 months, no single child outside of my own son came to the cradle. And the first person who came in month 7 came for emergency child care.
Oh.
Do click. So by the time we started to get customers, it was much later. But I'm so glad he told me that. But I had a burning thing inside me, all wisdom. I had no wisdom at all. In fact,
zero without knowledge.
Yeah, in fact, when he was telling me you have to save, I was annoyed the whole time.
It's just standing in my way.
It's standing in my way. I think it's because I'm powerful. He's fearing.
Fly. And I think I'm Brian. Because now many of my friends come to me and say, I am ready to leave employment. I'm going to go. I think I am the one person that has discouraged most people, because I just ask 2 questions.
Okay.
1, what is your pain threshold? You people, entrepreneurship in Uganda is
painful.
Yes.
Like, if you cannot take, I need to know what is your pain threshold. Have you been through, do you know pain before you start saying you want to? Imagine sitting in your premises for 6 months.
6 months.
It's painful and it's not. Yes. You feel like nobody understands what you're going through. That's one question I asked. The second is, do you have enough savings to take you for at least a year at the same level that you are at? If you are a man, you're not going to walk into the house and start telling the children, we shall eat chicken once a month, when they've been having it every week. You're not going to tell your wife that, these salon things, I think let's cut our hair. Can you sustain the same level for 1 year?
Livelihood.
Livelihood for 1 year. We don't have a very big saving culture in Uganda. We're consumption based. Yeah. We consume almost everything we have and more. So usually after asking those 2 questions, people are not happy with me. The same way Manuela was not happy with Brian. They're like, how come for you you've done it? I'm like, that's exactly why. I don't want you to cross over until you're ready. Because if I was, maybe the situation would have been completely different. I would not have all those years that I had and, you know, lost friends, you're broke, you what, it's taken me so many years to get here. But if you come out and you're ready, what business do you want to do? What do you know about it? Who are you going to partner with? Have you studied? Forget about research. No, but I'm passionate about it. I'm like, yes, but passion
Passion is so...
will not put food on your plate alone. It needs to come with so many other different things. Yeah. Oh, this has been nice.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think, should we do another 3 episodes? Or just answer
Ask us anything.
Because then we don't have to scratch our heads looking for topics saying, guys, so what should we discuss? The topics come, you guys tell us what you want to hear. Yeah. We easily relate, and it's so nice to share experiences because we have inside of us, we have the stories and the experiences ready. We just don't know what do we talk about, how do we talk about it, and when do we talk about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for staying till the end of the show. It is so important for us when you watch until the end.
Including the ads.
Including the ads. No, but you know, these days, I see so many people saying, guys, I'm watching
the ads. I see that. Yes, yes.
I'm watching the ads until the last one. So thank you so much. We couldn't answer all the questions. There were so many. So we just had to keep picking. But please ask more questions. We promised we will come into the comment section and answer. Or if you had answers for some of the questions that we were asked, please share your wisdom. Would like to know, and the rest of the fans watching would like to know as well. Also, share this video. Share the wisdom with your friends. Don't be selfish. Don't be alone who is learning. Learn with your friends. Learn with your sisters.
It will affect you if you learn alone.
Learn with your... Let's rise.
Let's rise together.
Until next week.
Bye. Take care. Bye.